Dr. Sharifah Munira, our moderator, fellow panelists, ladies and gentlemen, and saudara-saudara sekalian. Boleh dengar di belakang? Tak berapa dengar. Halo? Okay. Boleh dengar tak? Alhamdulillah. First of all, thank you, moderator Dr. Sharifah, for persuading me to be a panelist, and to the organizers of this forum for choosing ISTAC as the venue of this forum. Let's go straight to the topic of the forum. The topic is the future of the Ummah, which is the main topic, and the subtopic, the voices of unity and harmony. So I'll try as far as possible to discuss these issues. The main topic, the future of the Ummah. This is a very, very big issue. An issue which we cannot hope to find solutions, answers in one forum, not even a series of forums. This issue is an ummatic issue, the issue of the entire Ummah. Every member of the Ummah must contribute to this future, which of course, a better future, we hope. And in Islamic history, Islamic thought, there is this reminder of what we call the future that lasts for 100 years. We are still in the month of Muharram, the beginning of the Muslim New Year. So, there is a saying of the Prophet that at the turn of every new century, referring here to the Hijrah century, there will be a kind of a revival of the Ummah in terms of spirit, in terms of knowledge, in terms of commitment. And we may interpret this to mean that the new energy that is given, can last a century until again another new century comes in. So we are actually not yet in the midst of the. I'm sorry. We are now 1441. So we are yet to be in the midst of the 15th century of the 15th century Hijrah. But my point is this: the future of the Ummah is a question of the vision of all visions. The vision of all vision. Next year, Vision 2020 is about to lapse. Brunei, Darussalam has a Vision 2035. So other countries may have their own vision, but as members of the Ummah, let us talk about this ummatic, the vision of the Ummah until the next century. And the second issue is the subtopic, the voices of unity and harmony. This is also a major issue. But for the purpose of the discussion here, I would just like to narrow it down to how can the voices of unity and harmony shape this future of the Ummah. But in order to answer that question, we need to understand who these voices of unity and harmony are. And to answer that question, to help answer that question, I would like to approach this from historical and philosophical perspectives. Because in reality, I think we cannot hope to build a better future for the Ummah without knowing the past. It is important because the present problems are rooted in the past and future problems are rooted in the present. So basically, I would like to do that with the little time that I have. So my contention is that we cannot hope to build a better future without knowing the past. But the question is, what sort of knowledge about the past that we need to have? We have more than 1,400 years of 1,400 years of history. Of course, there's so many things to talk about. But in relation to the topic of the forum today, basically, I think, what I need to know, these voices of unity and harmony, I divided that into three major areas. There are three major areas of knowledge and Islamic thought where the voices of unity and harmony can be identified. First is in the area of philosophy. Philosophy has been a universal pursuit of knowledge in Islam, especially. Philosophy or falsafa is a very important area of knowledge in which the voices of unity and harmony have emerged. And the next area is the area of Sufism or Islamic spirituality, Islamic mysticism. Voices of unity and harmony emerge from this area. And the third area is Maqāsid Sharīa, which I define as enlightened philosophy of the Sharia, the universal dimension of the Sharia, not Sharia in the sectarian sense and in the narrow sense as understood by so many Muslims. So these are the three major areas in which the voices of unity and harmony have emerged. Why from these three areas? What are the characteristics of these voices? From among the philosophers, I can mention Al-Farabi, Ibn Sina, and so on. Those who, in a sense, had a very, very open policy towards knowledge from other cultures and civilizations, and made that knowledge their own. Now, in the case of Sufism, also these voices from Sufism, through their spiritual perspectives, very, very, they have this kind of universal thing. And the question of the same thing with the scholars of the Maqāsid Sharīa, their understanding of Islamic law is very, very inclusive and universal. So basically, I would say that the characteristics of these voices, number one, they spoke from the perspective of universalism. They spoke for the universal perspectives. And this is important because universalism is the antidote to sectarianism. When universalism prevails, then they will call this the sectarian things will just, in a sense, become marginalized. How to marginalize sectarianism? By promoting universalism. So we need to know, we need to learn, to know more about, in the past, who these voices of universalism are. But much since there are all those three groups just now. The other one is, of course, is inclusivism. They spoke is from the perspective of inclusivism, not exclusivism, because Islam itself, by nature, is inclusive. You just look, for example, at the Rukun Iman, the 6 articles of faith, is very, very inclusive. Look at that. Yeah? They believe not only in the Quran, but in other sacred scriptures of the world, for example. Yeah? So this is very important. Of course, the other one is the question of, they are the voice of social justice. All these people spoke about from the perspective of social justice. And if I may add, the fourth one, of course, these are the voices who, the voices of the bridge builders, the cultural builders. They built bridges within intra-Islamic civilization as well as with other civilizations. Now, why the present problem of the Ummah? The present problem of the Ummah is precisely because these voices have been weakened. Or rather, in some countries, these voices have been muted. Just imagine, some countries ban philosophy, ban falsafah. If they do falsafah, then they ban. But then, they ban that other forms of modern philosophy creep in. Either through the back door, or even some through the front door, but guys under different names. I don't want to mention those countries, but some countries ban philosophy from their educational curriculum. And then they ban Sufism. They ban Sufism. Yeah? In some countries, the proponents of Sufism have to go underground. So their voices have become muted. Yeah? At least in the 60s, I belong to that generation when there was underground music. At least, yes, that music had gone underground, but then you can hear very, very well, but not in this case. They're muted, and you can never hear this voice of universalism, inclusivism, and social justice. So I think it is, again, it is important, therefore, that this, well, I don't know how many minutes more. 5 minutes more, that's good, okay. So, precisely that's the problem, yeah? Philosophy, for example, has been banned. So, in the past, the role of Islamic philosophy in promoting the perspectives of universalism, inclusivism, has been very, very important. Very, very important. And of course, I mean, the rulers of the day, the caliphs, the viziers, and the caliph's court, they promoted this kind of, they promoted universalism. Now, the ruling people in our time, the ruling people of the time, they promote secularism and sectarianism, not universalism. Whereas in the past, it was different. Yeah? So you can never hear of any patrons of knowledge in the past patronizing sectarianism. They all patronize perspectives of inclusivism and universalism. And of course, about social justice. So the question of Maqāsid Sharīa, now of course we have begun to hear more about this. But the Sharia for quite some time has been spoken from the perspective, a very, very kind of exclusive perspective. Whereas the Sharia, in reality, is meant for universal perspectives. Yes, it is true. The Sharia can be divided into two. One is the universal dimension. The other one is the exclusive dimension. It's just meant for the Ummah. And there are certain aspects of the Sharia that are meant for the Ummah. But there are many other legal injunctions or aspects of the law that are meant for the whole human race. That is marginalized, that one. So hopefully, with a renewed interest in this Maqāsid Sharīa, there is the philosophy of law, the enlightened philosophy of law, which also believes in the kind of legal pluralism and so on. This will be revived. Now, this is what I think is the problem. So, what's the way out? Well, the way out is we multiply these voices. Of course, not just to multiply, no, but to have these voices playing the active role in society. So why not we clone? We have spiritual clones, intellectual clones of all these illustrious voices of unity and harmony. And those people in the past, of course, they were themselves clones of the Prophet. So if we talk about the Prophet as our model of behavior, model in everything, then let us be spiritual clones and intellectual clones of the Prophet. Inshallah, with more voices speaking from the perspective of unity and harmony, we will be able to contribute in the future to this better the future of the Ummah. So that's my what I think that needs to be done. But of course, one last comment for our reminders to the Muslim. There's a kind of thinking now that does not distinguish between unity and uniformity. This is very important thing to remark. Yeah, many Muslims are really, they say they are happy, they are more comfortable when they see uniformity, right? When things are all the same, like they are, whatever they are. But that unity is different. Unity is to admit that there is diversity. You cannot create unity without diversity. So we have to acknowledge diversity, give space to each constituents of that diversity, and with the belief that Islam provides the necessary means, the intellectual tools, and so on, how to make this unity out of diversity possible. So thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Prof. Osman. I think you have made two very excellent points. The last point especially, there is no distinction between unity and uniformity. I think that is a prevalent problem in most of the Muslim world, including Malaysia. The other point, the three major areas to identify voices of unity. The neglect of many of the social sciences, predominantly philosophy, Sufism, and history as well, in our current educational system in Malaysia especially. I think that is an extremely neglected area, philosophy especially. All right, let me introduce the next speaker, Dr. Chandra. Welcome, and please, you have 20 minutes.